Hey, K Willie. How are you doing? It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Okay, Blackbird. You didn't have to get in the video. You caught me live. You've been here for the last few lives, right? The last couple you've caught me. Hey, Demona. What's going on, girl? We are here. We are live. I said, let me come out here before. Let's see, what is the temperature? What is the temperature? 70 degrees. 70 degrees and climbing. I said, let me come out here before it gets too hot. Because this gazebo really don't give. It don't really shade it shades it from beaming down directly on you, but the way the gazebo is positioned, you really don't shade the sun. And they had to position it like that so it didn't block the bay view from the house. So it has to be positioned this way. Like you can't pull the awning down on the sides. But I think it should have had curtains or something on it. Because I have seen some that I think have curtains. These gazebos are expensive too, so, you just get something and put it up. I'm stressed out trying to remain optimistic. Custody issues about to make me. Well, don't get stressed out. That's the last thing you need to do is be stressed out. When you have issues like that, you have to go into the situation knowing that you have already won. Because stress does not help you in situations. Because stressing out says that I don't believe in a higher power. I don't believe that anybody's going to help me. And then that's what you'll get. You will definitely get nobody helping you. And you will just continue to stress. So in situations like that, you have to know I've already won. And however the situation turns out is how it's supposed to turn out. We don't control anything in this world. So how is there something right there? Yeah. Y'all wasn't gonna tell me I had something on my mouth. God. My eczema is acting, either eczema or psoriasis is acting up. I noticed it on the back of my neck, and it's just everywhere. But, I can't do anything about that. I can't say that I've changed anything in my diet. So I know it's not my diet. It could just be, we live in a very hard water state. So it could be the water. It could be anything. So I'm not going to worry about that. But if y'all see things going on, know that I have psoriasis and eczema. And some days it's going to be worse than other. My lips are super dry. That's all a part of autoimmune issues also. So it says, she said he lied in court and got full custody. He bullied me into, I can't say that word out loud. His attorney called me to tell me off myself. His attorney called me to tell me to off myself. My daughter wants to be with me. I'm trying to work to deities walking with me, but I don't think I'm doing it correctly. Sometimes it's not meant to be. Sometimes it's not meant to be. And I know that's a hard thing sometimes for us to understand, but sometimes the deities will look at certain situations and be like, maybe you need some time to do a little bit more healing before we step in and fix the situation. There have been a lot of situations, and I'm not one of those type of people that like to fool people into believing that everything will go in your favor just because you petition an Orisha or you petition a deity or you pray, because that does not happen. There have been times when things have not went in my favor, and I am an initiated practicer of Lukumi. Everything is not going to work in your favor. God sees things 500 steps before us or more. He knows the end. And sometimes it's just not meant to be. No matter how you petition or, because you're looking at the situation through your lens. And people don't want to admit, but you're looking at the situation through a very selfish lens because it's yours. And God looks at things through the bigger picture. He's not just looking at you. He's looking at you. He's looking at your daughter. He's looking at the father. He's looking at the whole situation. And he can piece things together that we can't see. So you may feel like the child is best to, be in your care. You said the child wants to be with you. But what if it's, and I'm not saying that it's not. I'm just, wanting you to look at the picture bigger. And understand that just because you petition an Orisha or a deity does not mean that everything is going to turn around and work in your favor, because it just does not work like that. And I hate to see people, who put that in people's mindsets. Oh, all you have to do is this, and then this will work. No, it's not always like that. Because if it's not set up ordained by God to work like that, it's not. No matter how many petitions you do, or what Orisha you petition to, or what deity you go to, if it's not ordained by God, it's not going to happen, because the deities fall under God. There's no one higher than God. The deities, when you petition them, they have to go to God and say, can I do this? Can I change this situation? Can I help her? And he has the final say. He can say no. No, leave that alone. I have things set up the way I want them set up in this situation. Maybe there's a lesson here that she has to learn, and I want her to learn it. I'm trying to work with the deities walking with me, but I don't think I'm... Oh, I read that, huh? So, sometimes it's not that you're not doing it correctly. It's that your answer is no. And I think we need to understand that too. Sometimes when we go to God, the answer is no. No. You're not going to do it. Or I'm not going to give it to you. God is just, God is our Father. He is just like a parent. Sometimes our parents have to tell us no. They see situations and they be like, no, you're not going to do that. I remember one time I wanted to go to this basketball game. And it was like the championship game for our school. But these games always, when it was a big championship game like that, it was always fights after the game. because whatever team that lost always wanted to fight. And these were two big rival schools. And my mother felt like after the game, it was going to be violent and she didn't want me to be there. But mind you, all of my friends were going. All of my friends. And I kept telling my mother, well, all of my friends will be there. It's not like I'm going to be there by myself. We're going in a group. We're going to stay together. And my mother still said, no. I told you no. Don't, bring it up again. I told you no. And I told you why. So I didn't get to go to the game. The next day, all of the kids came back talking about all of the fights. All of the people that had got hurt, people that wasn't even trying to be in a fight, how many police had showed up. It was basically a riot. And I had been so mad at my mother. Like so mad at her the day before. And then when I came back to school and everybody was like, telling me how bad it legitimately was, I was like, well, dodge that bullet. And sometimes that's how situations are with God. I said no, and I mean it. And it could be our kids. It can be anything. No. And we have to learn to accept those things when they happen. We have to accept it and move on. Grow from that situation and move on. And I know when it comes to our children, those are hard pills to swallow. But if you're having, these type of ideations and it's mental health issues involved in this situation, maybe you need some time. Maybe you need some time. Because and I know that you can't say everything here online, but normally when the father wins full custody, there had to have been something there that the judge saw to remove a child from their mother. The judge had to have saw something. Because I've been to many custody hearings. Because I work with children that have been removed from the home. They were in group home situations, and I have went to court with the child. When the judge is trying to figure out if the child can go back from the group home back home, the child had been removed from the custody of the parent and was staying in a group home situation. And normally when they're in a situation like that, there is no other relative that can take them. The judge doesn't feel like there's another relative capable of taking care of the child. So then the child goes into either a foster home or a group home situation. If there's no foster home, then the child has to go into and these were teenagers, so it is really more difficult to find foster care for teenagers. It's easier to find foster care for small kids, babies, toddlers. But teenagers, don't nobody want a teenager coming into their house, especially a teenager that probably has already been through a lot of stuff, that it's very hard to place them in a foster care situation. Because these foster parents know that these teenagers come in, they've already been through a lot of stuff, and they come in and they wreck your house. They bring a lot of trauma and hurt and pain with them, and they take that out on everybody. So there are a lot of kids, teenagers in group home type situations, especially here. I'm speaking for California because I live in California. He lied. He said he wanted to get out of paying child support and sharing custody. He lied to the courts. Well, his lies must have been convincing, is what I'm saying. Because it's rare that a father, gets custody of a child over a mother. But some things you can't lie about. Like you can't lie about stable housing. You can't lie about, because the social worker is going to come out and check out where you live. They're looking at your employment history, the amount of money that you make. You can't lie about that. You can't lie about that kind of stuff. Now, you can lie about, your character, because they're not going to, dig into your character and stuff. You can lie about that, but you can't lie about, the way that you're living. Are you financially able to take care of the child? And that's one of the main things that the judge is looking for. Is the child going to be in a stable environment? And are you financially able to take care of that child? And if you meet those criterias, you good. He had his mom and wife there all lying on me. Well, I mean, that's part of it too. The person that can present themselves the best wins. If he had more people on his side pleading his case, and he had a house, or at least an apartment and a job, he can show his pay stubs and all of that kind of stuff, then yeah, he gonna win. You had to come to court and do the same thing that he did. That's how court is set up. That's specifically how it's set up. It's, you have to play the game. You should have had people there to plead your case. Because, they do have sympathy on the mother. You are the mother. These judges really don't like to take care of, remove a child from the mother. They don't like to do that. And they really only do that when the father has really proven that he is better fit to take care of the child than you are. He had an attorney. I didn't. There you go too. He seemed to be more prepared. That's not his fault. That's your fault. You should have had an attorney. And then, if you're in a position where you could not afford an attorney, that too tells the judge, okay, well, she can't even hire an attorney. They look at all of that kind of stuff. And I'm speaking from experience. They look at all of that. Right, you couldn't afford one, but he could. He could. So the judge is looking at all of that. You couldn't even afford an attorney. He could afford to fight. You couldn't. And I'm not saying this as you're a bad person, but I'm saying that the judge looks at all of these things are taken into account. That's, they look at all of this. You couldn't even afford an attorney. You couldn't even afford to fight. Like, it wasn't, technically, it wasn't even a fair fight because you didn't have an attorney and he did. But that's not his fault, though. It's not his fault that you couldn't afford an attorney. And it's bad, but that's just how how the system is set up. It really is. This is, it's a crazy system. And when you get into a situation like that, you know that you got to play to win. And if you know that you can't win, you know that you're coming into a situation 10 steps behind the person that you're fighting. You try to resolve that stuff before you go to court, especially when you know that you don't have an attorney and you're not going to be able to fight the case the way he does. And of course, people go into these situations, and some of it could be spite. He could just be doing this really to hurt your feelings. Who knows? But it happens a lot, unfortunately. But I'm just saying, don't think just because you petition a deity or a spirit or something that's going to put you steps ahead, because it's not. It's real life. Some things are not handled like that. And then you're not really in a position to petition the spirits like you really should. Like, you're not making real sacrifices. You're not really doing what you're, because you don't know how. You don't know how to do that. Well, people will tell you anything to hurt you. That's part of the whole separation. I'm gonna say whatever I have to say to hurt you. And I don't know, you guys have probably had words. I'm pretty sure you said things to him to hurt him also. So I hope things are resolved for you. Sometimes it takes a while. How old is a child? Is a child young? Because if the child is like old enough to reason with the judge, usually they will sit down and, have a mediator come in and talk to the child and ask them who they want. I'm just sitting here looking at these dragonflies flying around. And it's just like when they fly, it kind of seems like they're dancing. They're so beautiful to me. 15 and autistic. But is the child verbal? The judge didn't. Yeah. Well, yeah, that was a bad situation because you didn't have anyone fighting for you. You went into a gunfight with a butter knife. You didn't have anybody fighting for you. So she's high functioning. Yeah, if you didn't have anybody fighting for you, It's just a bad situation. You can't, I don't know. It's hard for me to say. I can't say. But, speaking from a more professional point of view, you can't go into a situation like that by yourself because you're going to lose. You didn't have an attorney. You didn't have anybody to speak for you. Your ex had an attorney. He had, credible witnesses to speak on his behalf. Girl, they got you. They got you. You cannot go into a courtroom unprepared because that's not the judge. It doesn't work like that. They're speaking to these attorneys. They're looking at who comes in prepared. Your ex paid that attorney to go in there and say whatever he had to say to win. And these attorneys don't like to lose cases. And as soon as he found out he was going up against someone that didn't have an attorney, he knew he had already won. You didn't have anyone to represent you. And the judge is looking at that. She don't even have an attorney. Like, sometimes judges, when people come in and they're not prepared, they don't have an attorney, they don't have anyone representing them, they look at that like, you didn't take this serious. So you didn't take it serious, then you're not going to win. So I hope that, things are resolved for you, but sometimes you just have to take that L and, take this as a learning lesson. Maybe this is time for you to, kind of get yourself together and work on you and just continue to build your relationship with your child. Or save your money, get you an attorney, and go back to court. There's always ways to handle things. But you're going to have someone that is going to fight for you. You obviously can't do it. So maybe you need to, save your work, save your money, go back and find a family attorney, and go back to court and petition the court for shared custody. As soon as I choose to see the light in the dark corners, I redirect my power to what I want. Sometimes people only see darkness in all situations. Even in like your situation where you may feel like you have failed, there is still light there, but you have to find it. You have to find that light. You can't look at a situation and only see darkness. You have to be the one to find the light. You have to be the one to, okay, I'm going to take this situation. I'm going to, give, even if it's 6 months, I'm going to give it 6 months. I'm going to save my money. I'm going to get me an attorney. You have to be the one to find the light in the dark corners. because there's always going to be light around us. We just have to find it. And some people have the hardest time finding light in any situation because they're so used to living in darkness. You know, every situation or every bad thing that we go through is not complete darkness. There's always a lesson to be learned in situations, even in situations where we feel like we failed. There's a lesson to be learned there. We just have to find it. But some people live in a state of darkness, a whole state of negativity, a state of darkness, where you're not even able to see the light in situations. Our car broke down a couple of months ago. And we were like legit on the side of the road. We were able to pull over into this parking lot. So we weren't like on the freeway. We did. The blessing is the car didn't break down until we got off the freeway. And we were legit able to pull over into a parking lot. And at first, and we were only about maybe a mile and a half from home. And at first I got so upset. I was like, why is this car breaking down? You know, we had had such a nice time and we were so close to home when the car broke down. But then something in my mind was like, you have AAA. They can come and tow the car. Your son is a mechanic. Call him and ask him, you know, can we drive it the rest of the way home, because it would start up. So, you know, my son was like, yeah, go get this and put this in there and just, you should be able to get home at least. And then they can tow it from the house. And it did work. We were able to get home. And the next day, my husband called a tow truck and came and got the car. But I almost spiraled into this, you know, this dark place. But I was like, okay, you're not on the freeway. You're not in danger. You have roadside assistance. You're so close to home. It's not like you're not going to be able to get home. And my husband was just like, just sit tight for a minute. And if the car doesn't make it home, I'll call an Uber or Lyft or whatever and get you home. And I'll stay here with somebody will come get you. Don't worry. Because I think he saw that I was about to go into, stress mode. He was like, we're fine. We're fine. We're in a safe spot. We're in a parking lot. It's not like we're stuck on the freeway. It could have been worse. Like, we could have been on the freeway when this happened. But we weren't. So you have to be able to see the light in every situation that happens to you. If you go into woe is me when everything happens, you can't see the light. You can only see darkness. In darkness, and seeing darkness is just not a good space for anybody to live in on a constant basis. It's not good. It's not good for your body. Directing my focus onto what's thriving creates more of what I want. I have this pot of plants, succulents. One of them died. And I legit, the other day, was about to have a fit because I really think that Gizmo pissed on my plant and killed it. I really believe that. And I was so hyper focused on that one plant that died that I missed the fact that there were other plants in that pot that were surviving. They were thriving. But the one that died is the one that got my attention. That's like people on YouTube. We put so much attention into the negative comments. We give so much to the negativity. When people come over and say something negative, that just eats, it just eats me. There can be a million positive comments, but that one negative one just really just grinded my gears. We have to stop doing that. We have to stop doing that. Directing my focus onto what's thriving creates more of what I want. I want growth for my plants, so I have to concentrate on the ones that are growing. Water the ones that are growing. Feed the ones that are growing. That one little plant that passed away, I can put another little plant in its place. Each time I choose to tune into spirit, guidance of the highest truth shows up for me. There's a scripture in the Bible that says that we should not lean onto our own understanding. We have to lean on the understanding of God because our understanding is limited. Our minds are limited. Our scope is limited. So that's why we, lean to or trust in the understanding of God. Tune into your spirit. Like you said, you are trusting your spirit guides, you're tuning into them, but you don't think that they're hearing you or that they're working for you. Yeah, they're hearing you and they're working for you. You're just not getting the answer that you want, but you're being selfish in this situation because you want it to work the way you want it to work, and sometimes things don't work out the way we want them to. And sometimes if you really listen to spirit, you will hear them tell you it's not going to go the way you want it to go. And you have to, have that type of spiritual maturity that when you hear no, you accept it. You accept it. Okay. It's no right now. It's no right now. But I'm going to see what I can do to, turn things into a yes. Or you accept that no and you move on. And I know that this is a situation where it is, it's your child. You don't want to give up. You know what I mean? You don't want to give up. You don't want to just be like, okay, well, that person won because it's your child. I'm not saying don't fight for your child, but I am saying sometimes the answer is no. And you have to figure out how to, change things. So if he won because he had an attorney and he had someone to help him, then that's what you have to do. You have to, hey, let me get my money, stack my money, so I can get an attorney and walk into that courtroom with someone to help you. Do the same thing that he did. Take a page out of his playbook. If he won because he had an attorney, then you need to get you an attorney. It's just 2 cards or one. Dang, these cards are thick. I'm in awe of the magnificent guidance that is available to me. Most people don't understand this. And they lose because they're trying to lead themselves. There is so much guidance out there. The deities, the spirits, the angels, God, everybody is out there. But you have to call on them. You have to ask them for help. They just sitting there like, well, she ain't asked me. She ain't asked me either. Well, she must don't need our help. She don't. And they go on and help somebody else because you're not asking for help. Do you know how many people out here don't even think they need any help? Their egos are so big, they don't feel like they need any help from spirit or anybody else. They just out here living their lives because they are so confident in themselves that they don't think they need any help. I never want my ego to get so big that I don't think I need help. Never. I'm going to always need help. And I'm going to always call on someone to help me. You can't walk into a situation empty-handed. You got to have somebody to help you. Always. Especially in the way this world is set up. I let an inner sense of quiet multiply each day as I strengthen my faith in the love of the universe. And in this, you can switch out the word universe for God. Every day, are you taking that time away from everything, all distractions, social media, your kids, your partners, your pet, everything, to just sit with God and strengthen your faith? Just get somewhere and get still and get quiet. Sometimes in the morning, I just like to come out here. In the morning, the birds are more active. They get up and they're out here singing. My mother used to always say, when you hear a lot of birds chirping, they're praising God. They're thanking God for, waking up, for having something to eat. Because, it's God that provides for the animals. We are mentally mature enough to provide for ourselves, but He continues to provide for them. And their singing, harmonious singing is, thanking God for everything that they have. And it's just, when you get up in the morning, before all of the gardeners come out and they're starting the blowers and mowers and all of that kind of stuff, you get up early and all you hear is just the nature sounds, the birds chirping, and just the stillness, or maybe just the wind blowing. That's the time when you can, really seek God and really speak to God and really thank God. and, have that connection, build that connection. Because you're not going to have it if you don't, try. If you don't try to build that connection with him, or, build yourself up spiritually, you're not going to have it. It's not just going to fall on you. That's something that you have to work for. So I love getting up in the morning, coming out, listening to the birds. And, I happen to just live in an area where there are a lot of birds. I don't know why the kids are not in school. Are they on? What break would this be? With these little kids next door. Because I don't think they're homeschooled. Yeah, I don't know. But I know these kids are out of school today. Because these little rascals are loud. It don't say nothing on here. But that's it. We did 4 cards. If you want a private reading, you can message me. I am still doing private readings, and we will talk about my fee when you message me. Hey Tina. I am still doing private readings. That's why it does make sense for you to be a channel member, because each channel member does receive a monthly 30-minute session with me, and you can sit and talk about whatever for 30 minutes. If you want to do a reading for 30 minutes, or you just want to talk about a situation that's going on, you get 1 session a month as a channel member. So to me, being a channel member would probably be cheaper than actually paying for a session to receive a reading. So I'm just throwing that out there. The channel memberships are open. It's getting hot out here. I'm going back in the house where it's cool. I was going to sit over there under the lanai, but the sun is moving. So I know as soon as I get comfortable, the sun is going to come to an area where it's going to run me up out of there too. That's the only thing about this patio, is it gets all of the daytime sun. So you can't really sit back here comfortably until in the evening, until the sun starts to go down. So that's it, y'all. I will be posting these cards on the community wall. Do I want to post them on the community wall? Yeah. I'm going to post them on the community wall, and I probably will also post them on the shorts. Thank you guys for being here. Tina, if you do your live a little earlier and you have a topic, I will come on your show tonight if you let me know what you guys are going to be talking about, and I'm still up. I will come on your show. If you're talking about crochet or something, let me know. I have a crochet project that I really need to finish. And I just, you know how you complete a project, but you got to sew it together and you got to weave all your ends in. I just don't even want to do that. But I want to wear the project. I want to wear it because it's not getting cold, but at night, if I go somewhere at night, I can throw it on. So I got to finish this project. So maybe I'll do that a little bit later. So thank you guys for being here. I'll try to keep these like within an hour or so. So I will see you guys. Oh, I need to do something with these nails. They look a mess. I think that's glue from the last time I had my press-on nails on here. Ugh. Okay, I'll see you guys later. I love you. Sounds like you want to go to Club Crochet. Okay, girl, we can do Club Crochet. Just let me know. Message me on Instagram so I can come over there. So I'll see you guys later. I love you. Bye. Oh, I think I'm supposed to go here first. Bye.